on the heavens. I heard that there are more than one type of heavens. There are eight principalities are in one of the heavens, then what are the other principalities?
So principalities don't necessarily mean devils. They are spiritual principalities. You are a principality. It's just, a principality is simply like a jurisdiction. Just like a jurisdiction. Like you talk about the Prince of Persia. Prince of Persia it's like the devil breaking the earth into different zones. And then he has an angel, a fallen angel, to supervise the satanic activities in that zone. And that fellow was known as the Prince of Persia. And he had other powers or demons under him. Over Nigeria or Africa, we don't know how our own divided. But there are such rules and systems in the realm of the spirit as the demonic realm. But for us as Christians, we don't need to bother ourselves about any of that. Because the Bible says that at the name of Jesus, every knee will go bow, of things in heaven, on earth, and under the earth. So.
How was Christ able to make a public show of the devil, saying that he was carrying the sin of the world? That's the question, sir. How was he able to make a public show of the devil, saying that he was carrying the sin of the world?
Carrying the sin of the world does not mean that he became a sinner and was not a sinner. The Bible says that if the princes of this world knew, if they had known, that they would have known, they would not have crucified him. So if the devil thinking that he was doing Jesus Christ in, he did not realize that he was actually doing himself in. In shooting Jesus Christ, he shot himself. In killing Christ, he killed his own power. Right? Because the death of Jesus Christ was the blow of God against the power of Satan. So on the cross, when Jesus said those words, finally, it is finished. The work was finished. And so was the power of Satan over man finished. And he knew that he had completed it. So that's a public spectacle. He made triumphing over them, the Bible says, by the cross. So the cross was not a sign of weakness. The cross was actually the strength of God in manifestation. That was strength in display, not weakness. Jesus was tempted in all points like as we are, but was without sin. He voluntarily took all the sins of the world. That was a great show of power. So it's not a sign of weakness, it's actually strength. If you understand what the cross stands for, that is strength and manifestation.
Okay. When Eve ate the fruit and gave it to Adam, why was Adam not conscious of what he was eating?
Adam was very conscious. He doesn't want to lose his wife. That was his problem. They have not seen death before, they don't know. I don't think he fully understood all the ramifications of death, the effect that it will have in its full extent. But he knew that what he was doing was wrong. So when he just went ahead and did it anyway, because I believe this is my own personal assumption that he simply did it because he didn't want to lose his wife. He wasn't deceived. He knew he would die. But he probably didn't know that his children would die. And don't forget that at that time there was no conception. had no, Eve had not conceived, and he had no child, so he didn't know what human beings would look like. The only human being he knew was Eve. So there were still a lot of gray areas, I believe, for him at that time. So that's why he did it. But God very quickly, in His mercy, revealed to him how they would be saved. Because God was the one who offered the first sacrifice. He took a lamb, spoke the lamb, shed the blood, and then made garments for Adam and Eve, from the skin of, yeah, that's all. All right. When you are in the kingdom, there are things that we must understand. One, the powers that are available to you, I'm answering your what's going on, are way beyond that which is available to the ordinary man. In the ordinary man or the sinner, there is a power that is at work inside him, and that power is the power of death. But in the saint, there is a power that is at work, and that power is the power of life. When the Christian understands what is resident within him, and he diligently notice the difference between the successful believers and those who are failures is diligence. One is diligent and the other is not. You are either diligent or you're slothful. But all the diligent believers, are prosperous. All diligent believers are productive. All diligent believers I'm trying to use this word. I'm trying to use the word abort. I'm looking for the right sentence to use it in. No diligent believer has his destiny aborted. None. But the slothful believers can have their destinies altered. The slothful believers can be very unproductive. The slothful believers are barren and not productive. If we were to go back and look at some of the things through Scripture, just to run through a few of them. Isaac, there was a time where everybody was running away from his community because Egypt was a place where there was food, there was prosperity. There was no prosperity where he was in. So he took his family, Isaac, Isaac, his family, and I wanted to build the well. And God told him, where are you going? He said, Lord, I'm going to where the grass is green, where there is prosperity. And God told him, sit down where you are, plant. And that was his soul. Planted, probably a vineyard. The Bible says that Isaac lived 100-fold. He became so prosperous that the people in his community begged him to leave because he was too powerfully rich in the midst of poverty. What that means, therefore, is that for the Christian, your location is not what determines your prosperity. What determines your prosperity is your ability to tap into the unction of the Spirit of God inside you and take counsel. Do what the Spirit of God is leading you to do. Are you following that? The Bible says, as many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. Sons of God do things well. Sons of God, they always produce results, good results, useful results. There's always increase, promotion, multiplication. Because that's the path of life. Life doesn't have a system of death or a system of truncating visions and purposes. No. It has a system of fulfilling visions and purposes. Where there is life, there is growth. Right? A newborn child is alive, does the normal things, and then he grows to maturity. When you get mature, Hey, what's the next thing that happens when something is mature? It becomes reproductive. You plant a tree. As the tree matures, then it begins to produce fruit of its branches. That's the path of the Christian. In John 15, Jesus Christ said, "We are the branches." Huh? He says, "My Father is glorified that ye bring forth much fruit." The book of Proverbs. He says the path of the just is like light that shines brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. So if you look at this, as long as you stay loyal to the leading of the Spirit of God, loyal to the will of God, it is prosperity galore. When I say prosperity, I'm not saying you become a millionaire. Because that's what usually happens to us. We tend to think that your prosperity means that you're going to be a billionaire or a millionaire. We always tend to measure wealth in financial terms. And you can be rich and very poor. You can be a very poor rich man. Don't you know that? Have you watched that movie, that series that was saying the rich also cry? Huh? Yes. Yeah, they cry all the time. Jesus Christ said a man's life does not consist in the abundance of things that he possesses. It is the curse of our generation, that is your generation now. Started with our generation, we passed it on to you. A pattern that you must reject. Much of the doctrines that my generation has left for your generation is false. We've led with a very bad example, from the bishops to the least. Very bad example, because we have taught the church lies. When I say we, I'm not part of the world, it's my generation. So I cannot run away from it. We have taught the church that your gain is in your acquisition. But that is the doctrine that the Bible says will be prevalent in the end time. So we fell victim to the false doctrine and handed the baton over to your generation. The Bible says in 1 Timothy 6, 1 Timothy 6, it says they will teach that gain is godliness. No, gain is not godliness. But godliness with contentment is great gain. And if we read that, when it says gain, it says gain from the Greek. It's from the Greek word perismos. Perismos means money getting or acquisition. So they will teach that money getting or acquisition of material things, titles, social preeminence, and all of that is gain. That's what godliness is. But the Bible says that's not it. So sometimes when we talk about prosperity, fruitfulness, and things like that, people's minds just quickly go to wealth. You know. So that's not the fault. So that's not to say that you will lack in that department. For the Bible says that reach above all things that are obvious, prosper, and be in health. How? Even as your soul prospers. So as your soul is prospering, all these things will follow. We could go on and on and on and on and on. There are abounding testimonies right through scriptures, Old and New Testament. You know. So the path of the just, let me just give you two things. Sin comes from the word puti, which means to miss the mark. So when there's sin, you never hit the target. Righteousness says all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. But righteousness is different. He says that where there is righteousness, how do you put it again now? Christ in you, the hope of glory, which means that you are now aimed at hitting the target. So the structure of your life now is different from what it was when you were a sinner. Ephesians 3, verse 20 says that God is able to do exceeding abundantly above what you can ask or think, according to what? His power that is in heaven? No, according to the power that worketh in us. In Philippians 2, I think it's verse 13, it says, for it is God at work in us both to do what? Will, to desire, and to do. What that means, therefore, is that God inside the believer, the kingdom child, is constantly working by His Spirit. As many as are led by His Spirit, to them, what are they called? They are the sons of God, He says. So it's welling up inside me. What is it doing? You know, the Bible says that a man of understanding draws from the depth of counsel that is inside me. So the Spirit of God is stirring within me and is causing me to desire His will, His direction. So I should never be in confusion if I'm listening to the Spirit of God. Never. I should never be in confusion. I was saying this in church, a priest, and all we're talking about wisdom and foolishness. You know, how that sometimes we take for granted that leading of the Spirit of God. That if we paid a little more attention to it, hey, God knows where most of us would have been. Students, or when you're playing, there is always something inside you that says to you, leave this place, you shouldn't be here now. We usually don't pay attention to it. Sometimes you have just gisted with your friends, and after gisting for a while, you have that wordless knowledge that you have talked too much. Keep your mouth shut. How many of you have experienced that? Yeah? You just know. And then you start feeling bad. All of a sudden you are quiet, somebody asks you, what's wrong? You said nothing. But the Spirit of God has just given you a check. Are you following that? Now, why is it that we always hear it after the fact instead of before? Because we have not exercised ourselves sufficiently to be sensitive to the leadership of the Spirit of God. I came out of my house one night, dark night, there was no light, the place was hot, and well, we are all used to it. And I had some work to do. So I needed to put on the gen. So I walked out of my house, walked into the car porch. I was walking towards the gen house to put on the gen. As soon as I walked towards the gen house, I had a wordless knowledge inside my mind to turn around, and I just walked over a slave. And everywhere was black. So I turned, and I took my cell phone and put on the flashlight on it, and I just looked at them. On the black tile was a black snake. Is there any way I would have seen in the dark of the night a black snake on a black tile? No, talk to me. Even if you have night vision. But the one who knows all things spoke to my spirit. And I turned around, saw it, and killed it. I asked myself the question. I stepped over it the first time. Why didn't I notice? Why didn't it attack me? And why is the Lord helping me to know now? Because He knows that if I were to turn around after putting on the what's it called and walk through that same place, I could have been beaten. So to prevent me from being beaten by the snake, He gave me that word. Suppose I shrugged it off and said, "Ash," and continue. I probably would have ended up in the hospital. I don't know if you understand that. How many of us want to do business? And then the leading of the Spirit of God comes, we shun it. Then we invest and we fail. Or you invest and succeed. So you think that, oh, you are succeeding. You have just made $1 million. Whereas if you had listened to the Spirit of God, you may have made 300 million. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. That is the level of development that children of God must get to. We need to exercise ourselves, be sensitive to the Spirit, pay attention to that function. And the Bible says it will lead us into all truth. Now, when it says all is unqualified. All truth means every truth. It's not only scriptural truth. That's not only matters of scripture and religion. It will lead you into all truth and show you things to come, give you foresight. Now we have the Spirit of God, but we don't have foresight. We have the Spirit of God, and there is prevailing ignorance. How can you be productive? How can you multiply? How can you increase? When the things that God has given you for your prosperity, you have set them aside. Okay? Praise God.
Only the understanding just statement for the children. We have the children of stories. One of the characteristics
characteristic of those in the kingdom is obedience. That God will let this word abide in us and get fruits that are profiting to show thereof. That will not just be like the heirs of this world. Give yourself the heirs of this world and not blessed. There is no blessing from the heirs of the world. That will pull them into them the profiting to show. Then the profiting will show. Thank God for everyone who is there. Thank God for the grace and the strength to thank God for the grace and the strength to do. I like every one of us to open our mouth. I want to appreciate God for such a moment as this. Appreciate God for such a moment as this. Thank you for such an opportunity. Thank you for your year. You're announced about the kingdom. The kingdom of God is the regular kingdom. It was given to the Son Jesus. Jesus won us back from us there, and that's partakers of this kingdom. Yes, we are now representing and ambassadors of this kingdom. The very nature that works in this kingdom is the nature of obedience and righteousness. Help God that if God will put them into you. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. Let our King be